Yes. Just had a spare and had the call from Neeldy, and it just said, "Welcome aboard, mate." So that's how I first found out about it.
And how are you feeling?
I'm wrapped. Just being able to get the opportunity to hopefully play footy, what I've grown up loving, and I've just wanted this opportunity ever since I can remember.
How have the last couple of weeks been with the Gold Coast and everything that was kind of mentioned with them entering the fray?
Yeah, I guess there was a bit of attention around that, but it was out of my hands. I couldn't really I couldn't do anything about it. So I just went about focusing on school and the draft combine last week.
Mark, at the BNF last year, you said you wanted Melbourne to be the hardest team to play against. How does Jack sort of fit into that strategy?
Yeah, he fits in very well, Jesse. I think if you were to give a description of a player or types of player that we need to help us progress up the ladder, Jack fits that description really well.
Were you prepared to take him at that pick number 3 if that's what it came to? What was the strategy when it was on?
The strategy was to wait and see. You guys will never know, but we're quite happy that he was there at 26.
Were you ever really nervous, Mark, that you might not get him?
Oh, no. Look, we discussed a whole lot of things. Look, it's pretty hard to deal in hypotheticals. I'm just pleased to say that, Jack's going to play at Melbourne next year.
Do you see him playing senior footy straight away next year, or is it a long-term perspective?
Oh, no, we plan to, provided Jack completes a full pre-season, those types of things, yeah, we see him playing straight away. Keep in mind that, Jack's been already a part of the place for a year. He's been training with us all year, so we're fairly well down the track with the things that we need to know about him. And David Misson's been, in control of all his conditioning and strength work for the year.
Jack, how old were you when you thought you could become an AFL footballer? Obviously, it's every young guy's dream.
Well, I think footy got really serious for me at under 12s level. I was fortunate enough to make the under 12s Victorian side. So I guess that's where it all started, and all my ambitions really kind of flowed on from there.
Mark, what did you think of the got AFL saying that Melbourne recruited doesn't take?
Yeah, what I thought was, that's the young fella that I met 12 months ago. He's you'll have to speak to Jack about if that's what he intended to come out, but he's certainly a determined young man. That's the one that I know, and that's what I thought, Robbo.
Was that intended?
What I meant by that was just if Melbourne overlooked me, that I'd be quite disappointed, and it would just motivate me to work harder and hopefully one day maybe make Melbourne regret the decision.
Jack, what about your dad's role in all this? Obviously, it was a kind of awkward situation for him. How did you play that, against, at the end of the day, just being a father and a son? Yeah, well,
I trained with Melbourne all year, and we had that really professional relationship while I was at Melbourne, and I think that's definitely going to continue. But at home, we'll still with my father, and you're right, it's definitely a unique situation, but I think we've managed it really well.
What was the last thing he said to you, I suppose, before you left for school today, knowing that it was going to be such a big day for you?
I think it was just, try and have a joke around, and maybe hinting I was going to end up at Gold Coast and play some games there. But it's all good, and I'm happy with the result.
Mark, you've gone to 26. You absolutely must be wrapped about at least 3, 4, and 13. A lot of interest this morning, was there? And 3 or 4 from opposition clubs?
Yeah, it's amazing how many friends you pick up when you've got numbers 3, 4 and 13 in the draft. And, first day of what will be, 3 weeks of discussion and trading. We'll see what happens. We haven't committed either way to what we'll do with those picks.
How much interest? How many friends?
A few.
How much interest? Has it surprised you?
What
clubs have been prepared to offer for one of those 2 picks?
No, there's been no firm offer. I think today's a really interesting day. It's like, footy's version of speed dating. You get to spend 15 minutes with every other club. It's pretty quick, and the majority of recruiters play their cards fairly close to their chest. There was no one certainly came across the table and said, we want this pick, there's our offer. So we'll just
prepared to keep those 2 picks.
3 and 4. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Are
certainly.
you committed to keeping him, or are you open to trading one on?
We haven't ruled anything in or out. You know, if someone comes up with a deal for one of those 2 picks and we think it's a worthy deal, we'll certainly look at it. But again, if we don't think it's a worthy deal, we're quite happy to go to the draft and have selections 3, 4, 13 plus, knowing we've got Jack at 26.
Was there any interest today, or have there been any progression with Chris Dawson?
Not today. You know, I suppose, you know, we're in discussion with Collingwood, and you know, we've spoken to Chris, and you know, Chris has got a decision to make, and then if and when he makes that decision, you know, us and Collingwood have a secondary decision to make so we can get a deal done. But we'll just wait and see. But no progress today on that one.
Is Chris a good enough player for you guys to entertain for?
Look, I'd have to take that one under advisement, Robbo.
From whom?
So we get a list management committee of about 6 people, so that'd be something that we throw around there.
I mean, the superstars usually come at 3 and 4,
Yeah,
10, 12-year players.
yeah, normally.
Normally.
Yeah, but it's amazing.
10-year, 12-year potential superstar.
Well, one thing that has been evident today, one thing I did learn is that I don't think there'll be a number of deals done. It won't be as simple as this player for that pick. There's a lot of what the recruiters talk about, add-ons and winding picks in, and there's ways and means to get things done that it's not always as simple as this numbered pick for that player. So we might look at something like that.
Last one, have you been able to convince Wellingham that he's fit to be at Melbourne?
Not as yet.
Given up?
Oh no, it's day one.
You can be involved in or get a pick in the mini draft, Mark? Is that part of your thinking?
Pete, yeah, it is. We've had a discussion about that, and you know, again, that was one of the other things we discussed today with GWS. So that's, I don't know whether it's developing or in discussion or whatever term you want to use.
Jack, how much do you reckon it's helped your fitness and also your development this year by being tied to the Ds, I guess, a year early?
Huge, I think. Just being able to see the way, you know, midfielders like, you know, Nathan Jones, who's had a terrific year, go about their footy, really shows me the level I need to get to, and has been a massive help for me.
Jack, you have the senior coach sitting next to you saying, you know, you go through pre-season well, you know, you're going to be playing sooner rather than later. Just hearing him say that, what's your reaction?
You know, I'd love to hopefully play footy next year for the Melbourne Footy Club. You know, I still got a long way to go, a lot of development to do before that happens. But you know, I'll be putting my best foot forward, trying to have a really good pre-season, and hopefully you know, leave the coaches with the opportunity to pick me up.
How highly would you rate the chances of getting Ray, Claus, Bellingham, and you already got Burns?
Yeah.
Now, knowing those other 3, bearing in mind, I think a couple of times this year, you've said we're not going to use all our teenagers, expect them to play next year. You're going to go after some experience, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll have a look. I can't give you a rating as to, you know, landing 4 particular experienced players. There'll be a lot of players spoken about over the 3 weeks. You know, we've made no secret that, you know, if there's a couple of experienced players around that we think one will play in our senior side, and then add some know-how and guidance to an inexperienced club, we'd certainly look at it.
Do you think, given the success of Sydney in recent weeks, and they've had great success trading recently, that perhaps this trade period, people are, you know, it's fresh in our minds that trading can be a really key success to building a premiership side?
Oh, yeah, probably. And again, I think for us, all clubs are different. You know, we want anyone that comes into our side to, like I said to Mark, you know, be able to play in the AFL side, as well as provide for us. You know, we're strong in the belief we've got, you know, an inexperienced group, but a core group that can take the place somewhere. And if they need a little bit more guidance, we'll certainly look at it.
Do you think that the club would commit to a player in the father-son rule again? Was it a difficult sort of journey to go through this year, knowing that you might have had to use a pick through on Jack?
Pete, case-by-case basis, you know, we're wrapped that Jack's joined the club today officially, and you know, it's certainly something we look at in the future. It just depends on the player and where we think he fits or doesn't fit our needs.
Jack, even though you weren't officially on the list this year, did it sort of sting you to see the way the club struggled this year?
Yeah, no doubt. I created some great bonds with the coaching staff and also the players. To see them, not have a great year and things not go their way was tough, and yeah.
Do you think you were worth pick 3, Jack?
Personally, I think I reckon I'm worth pick 3. I'm really looking forward to just putting my foot in the door at the Melbourne Footy Club, and I've been fortunate enough to get the opportunity to just have a good crack at it, and I'm going to try and make the most out of the opportunity.